Welcome to the House of Horrors. Welcome to episode 2, guys. And we are about to do the Freddy versus Jason series today. I'm Dre, and I got my guy Spaulding here, and we're ready to get started.
Yeah, franchise versus franchise. I posted a little bit of a teaser yesterday on Instagram and made it look like we were just doing the movie, but we're gonna line up both characters and movies and wiener sizes of Jason and Freddy. And I wanted to give a little bit of a disclaimer before we started. Um, I recently joined a Facebook group where everybody acts like baby boomers and talks shit about like millennials and so on and so forth. And I got really into the character, so if that kind of starts slipping through a little bit and you hear me saying some off the wall shit, that's why. It's because I have become one with the boomer now, so that's just who I am.
Hey, that works.
So, all right. I was gonna ask you before we even got into it, really, out of both Friday the 13th franchises and the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, which one do you prefer personally?
A lot of people are going to be disappointed in this, but as bad as some of the movies were, I got to go with the Nightmare on Elm Street series.
I had a feeling you were gonna say that. So, but I mean, I can go ahead and just put this whole debate to bed right here at the beginning. And Freddy Kreuger, he wears a fedora and a striped sweater, and Jason Voorhees wears a badass hockey mask. So I feel like that right there is kind of where we can end off the whole debate on who's cooler.
On the clothing?
I don't know. I think this episode's hard for me because I grew up with Friday the 13th. That was my favorite horror movie growing up as a child. Um, I just liked how Jason was more of like the strong, silent type, and he had the mask on. And Freddy's cool and all, but I never really cared too much for like the sword hands and just how I don't know. I don't really care for too much humor in a horror movie. I like it when it's kind of sprinkled in, but
Outside of the talking, it was too roller coaster for me.
mm-hmm.
He hit that peak, then he dipped, then he goes back up again, and then he dips off again. It was just, at least with Freddy, I knew exactly what I was gonna get with each movie. If nothing else, Freddy was gonna deliver like he always does.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks to say, but I think as a whole, the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise is a little bit more solid than the Friday the 13th franchise. It has
Mm-hmm.
more continuity, and if you look at, I'm looking at the directors and the screenwriters for Friday the 13th right now, and there is not two movies that have the same director. It's all different
Right.
directors. It's all different screenwriters. It was passed
Exactly.
around more than a joint at a fucking party.
Yeah, and see, that's why I was saying you constantly get that roller coaster feel of you're up 1 minute, then you're down, then you go
Mm,
back up, and that's why.
yeah, I mean, Friday the 13th 1 through 4, like, even though I think, or no, so Friday the 13th part 2 and 3 had Steve Miner as the director, so that, I guess, that I'm just an idiot and I didn't read it all the way through, but number 1 through 4, I think those ones were really, really solid.
And I was about to say, if I was gonna say, if any, the first four were probably the strongest.
Yeah. Yeah, even though it's weird how, Jason drowned as a little child and then he died and still grew up, so I don't know how the fuck that works, but um
Man, zombie with superpowers.
yeah, they touched on it in Jason Goes to Hell. They flashed by the Necronomicon from The Evil Dead.
Yeah, they did, and I'm glad we get to talk about that today because that's actually one of my favorite Jason movies.
Jason Goes to Hell. Yeah,
Oh,
me too. Yeah, I think that one's probably the strongest film in the entire series to me. It's the most well written. It's probably the scariest, honestly, too.
That much it is. I remember seeing that for the first time, and I was scared shitless when I saw it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a little bit different of a take. I feel like the Jason Goes to Hell movie and then A New Nightmare, or you can kind of compare those two together
It
because
has
it's sort of
good comparisons. Good
mm,
because they both come back
mm,
strong with both of those characters, and the atmosphere in both of them get really dark.
yeah, yeah. And there's a lot more dark undertones with Jason Goes to Hell. Like the part just at the beginning, the part where the coroner literally pulls out his heart and eats it
Yeah,
because it's
man,
beating.
that's
That shit grossed me out,
sick
dude.
shit. Sick shit.
Like we watched that one the other day, and I was, it made me sick to my fucking stomach. I was like, how could they even get an actor who would want to do something even remotely close to this? But
Even though it's just a movie, right?
yeah, but it's like the way that the blood was like that dark crimson red. It wasn't
Yeah,
like that super bright red like they normally used in all of those other horror movies. But
yeah,
it was like that really really dark crimson, like it almost a blackish hue to it.
yeah. It gave some realistic effects to it.
Yeah, that was. I think that one is the strongest movie. Like 1 through 4, those are my favorites, and then 5 and 6 are, I think, when you start to see Tommy Jarvis, that's a
Yeah,
pretty solid two movies right there.
I was about to say 4 will always be my favorite, but like you said, that fifth and sixth one, yeah, they're strong runner ups for me,
Hmm.
just because of that Tommy Jarvis story.
Yeah, when because they originally they wanted Tommy Jarvis to come back because Tommy Jarvis comes in number 4, right?
Yeah, it was number
Or is
4.
number 4, yeah, and they wanted number 5 Tommy Jarvis to be the new Jason, and fuck, I got these all mixed up. Which one is the one where the killer isn't actually Jason? Is that
Yeah,
part 7, the New Blood?
that's the fifth one.
Oh, the fifth one.
Hmm.
Okay, yeah. I got it mixed up with 7. So the fifth one, they wanted Tommy Jarvis to be the new Jason, so that's why they kind of did that switcheroo with the killer not actually being Jason.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like that one for that particular, but I actually like the fifth one.
It was it was pretty good.
It holds up well.
Yeah, I think just like the three with Tommy Jarvis are all pretty solid because you have the final chapter with just him with Corey Haim as a child, or Haim or Feldman, whichever one it was, and then the new beginning where it's the other person. Then Jason Lives, the one where Tommy Jarvis brings him back to life with the lightning thing where he sticks
Oh yeah,
the fence post
the
into
fence
him.
post, yeah, it gets struck by
Yeah,
lightning.
and part 7 was okay. Where I thought it was a little weird how they had the girl with the psychic powers. I
Mm,
thought that shit was a little crazy, but
I I
um,
just I couldn't. I mean, it's still Jason, and he had some good kills in that one too. Matter of fact, but I just couldn't get behind the telekinesis thing.
yeah, that's kind of where I was sitting too. Even though Jason's literally like a supernatural being, he's a zombie, and he keeps coming back to life, and he can kill everybody, and he can't die. But when this girl starts using telekinetic powers, I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Like, where does it come from? And
Yeah,
why do we need it for this particular movie?
I think they just ran out of ways of like, how are we gonna kill Jason this time? Somebody in the writing room was. They said, well, what if the person has superpowers?
Because yeah, if I'm remembering correct, she brings him back when she's trying to resurrect her dad.
Hmm.
So I'm guessing that was their way of, okay, well, we've run out of ways to bring him back, so let's just find some chick with superpowers and she can bring him back.
Yeah, yeah. And then we get into number 8. Jason Takes Manhattan.
This is your favorite one.
The biggest heap of fucking shit in the entire series. God damn it. I actually talked to Reese about this one the other day. Shout out Reese. We're gonna talk about him in every episode apparently.
Yeah.
Um and we got to talking about it, and I don't hate the concept of him jumping on the boat and going to Manhattan. I don't hate that. I don't hate the storyline. I hated the fucking acting. Like
Was it
when
that
he gets off
bad?
the, it was terrible. Everybody, like, he gets off the boat into Manhattan, and everybody's looking at him like he's just some other, like, some normal pedestrian. And I don't understand why nobody's freaking the fuck out. Like, I'm sure he smells like shit. Like, you should at least be afraid of, like, his odor. He probably smells like sauerkraut dipped in cat shit.
Well, hey, it's New York City in 1980, so
I mean, I guess I get why they did that, but it was just the melodramatic acting and just the progression of the story was like, and at the end where, I'm not going to give any spoilers, but the ending in the sewer, like, I thought that was the corniest fucking shit I've ever seen in my entire life.
where the mask comes off and he
Hmm.
just yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So go watch that movie if you want to know what we're talking about, or don't. I don't give a fuck. That movie sucked. But then, you have Jason Goes to Hell. Great, great, great movie.
Starts off
Uh,
great, and the ending is probably one of the best endings in any horror film I've ever seen.
oh,
There's
definitely.
no better way to set up a possible horror movie than the way that movie ends.
Hmm. Yeah, and I mean, it took
10 years for us to get the
10
movie, but
years.
hey, we got it.
Yeah, but I never realized that part as a kid. I never, like, I thought maybe it was just a spoiler, but that was also before, the movie came out. I don't want to give any
Oh
more spoilers
man,
to it, but
when I saw that ending for the first time, I'm just like, when are we getting it?
yeah, it was much needed. I feel like two of the campiest horror movies from the '80s. So, and then we get into Jason X, which was, I mean,
That's another one for me. I know a lot of people love it, but to me, the whole going to space thing, I think, is just lazy as shit.
hmm,
You know what? We don't have anything else to do. Let's send those fuckers to space.
yeah, I just the execution of it alone, where he was frozen, and I don't know, I wasn't crazy about that one.
Uh, all of them. I mean, the leprechaun when he goes to space. They even sent Pinhead to space with the mint configuration.
Hmm. I haven't seen that one yet, but it's on the list, so
Scratch it.
I feel like I have to see it.
As your guy, I'm telling you to scratch it.
I'm gonna,
Better yet,
I'm
watch it so we can do our part two of shit horrible movies, and you can add that one.
yeah. I mean, I already got my whole list for the next episode, so. And then after Jason X, it's Freddy vs. Jason, which we can get into later. And then they have the remake of Friday the 13th by,
Which,
I thought
which,
it was by Michael Bay, but it's by Marcus Nispel.
hmm which you like
Um,
that one?
I thought it was okay. I mean, it wasn't the best remake I've ever seen. I think it was better than the Nightmare on Elm Street remake by a long
That it
shot.
was. It's just with that one, it just felt too Texas Chainsaw to me.
Yeah, I understand that. Like, almost like the 2003 remake of Texas
Yeah.
Chainsaw had that same vibe
hmm
to it.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I know you were pretty upset with how they gave Jason a little bit more mobility and he was running all over the
I
fucking
mean,
place.
Jason was a track star, man.
Yeah, he was. But in that movie's defense, he did run in part two and
That's
three. And part two more so when he had the
I was
potato
about to
sack on
say
his head.
potato sack Jason.
Yeah. So I thought it was okay. I think it could have been better. I did enjoy how he had like that little underground layer and, you know, had all those traps and shit. But
I
I
like the layer and I like the traps. Had they scrapped the running, I think I would have been able to get into it a little more.
yeah, so we're gonna put out an email to Marcus. We're gonna say, hey, if you would have just not had him run, you'd have one more person who likes your movie. So jot that down for next
The
time.
people that agree with us, send your hate tweets to Marcus.
Yeah, fuck him. I don't know his Twitter name or his Instagram name, but fuck him. Um, and then Nightmare on Elm Street. This one has less movies, but it's I'll let you. You probably know a little bit more about this one. I've seen them all, but I haven't seen them all multiple times like I've seen Friday the 13th. So,
Well, with the Nightmare on Elm Street series, the first one will always be the best in the entire series.
mhm.
Two, um, We talked a little on text about that a couple weeks ago. Um,
This is the one where it opens up with the bus driving scene, right?
yes.
Yeah, that
And
show's a little campy, but
for the longest of time, I could never understand why. I just couldn't get into the second one until I saw the documentary and I went back and watched it. I'm like, oh, I see it now.
yeah,
So
it's okay. But I know Wes Craven he didn't want to set it up for the second one, but
no, no, he
uh,
actually didn't, and he was not behind the idea of a male actor being the lead. He just always, felt that role should have been for a woman. And like I said, if you know the backstory behind the sequel, kind of makes sense.
yeah, I thought it was okay. I don't remember that one a lot. I
Uh,
remember one and three the most,
I,
but and obviously a
well,
New
with
Nightmare.
the second one, is the character Jesse is, living in the now Nancy's old
Mm,
house, and it's almost like he's taking on that persona of Freddy Krueger, but
mm.
is he just taking on the persona or is he actually getting possessed by Freddy? They tease it a lot throughout the movie.
And then number three is
Second
I
favorite.
think I think this is probably the pivotal one in the whole series, number three. And this is the one where Wes Craven
And I
came
was
back
about
to
to say,
help
we
write.
get Wes back on this one and he brings the Nancy character back. And
Hmm.
I just go on record to say this one kind of got me a little onion faced as a kid because I'm like, wait, what the fuck? Nancy's dead?
Yeah, I didn't see that coming, but it's
Wow.
I think they took the right turn with it, and it should have ended right there, but they went on to make three more after.
Yeah, they did.
So and then number four, the Dream
Nightmare
Master.
4.
Yeah.
Well, to start this one off, it was disappointing for me. We didn't get Patricia Arquette back to reprise her role
Oh yeah, I
as
fucking
Kristen.
hate when they replace people in movies. That drives me up the fucking wall.
I mean, hey, at least they got a deal. I mean, the girl that takes on the Kristen character actually did the intro song.
Oh, did
Yeah.
she? I mean, they could have. I don't know. My theory on it is if you can't get the same actor to play the same role, fucking take that role out of the movie
Yeah, man,
because
because I mean, when we get introduced to her character, I'm like, okay, who is this? And when they call her Kristen, I'm like, what the fuck? What happened to Patricia Arquette?
I'm not good with names. So when they said, "Hey, Kristen," I was just like, "Oh, this is I don't know. I don't give a shit who she is." And my girlfriend started fucking freaking out. And I'm like, "What? What's happening?" And she said they replaced the Kristen from the last movie. And I was like, "Oh, that's who that's supposed to be." And she said, "Yes," because she remembers all the names
Mhm.
and she has to remind me. I don't fucking remember names throughout movies.
Only
So
with the iconic ones, I'm kind of good with the names. But
mhm.
yeah, man, it was just that and the dog pissing on the ground and the ground cracks open and Freddy comes out. I'm just like, what the hell?
Yeah, they got a little too out of the box with that one to where they traveled to weird domains. I think.
Yeah, and then you got Alice's brother doing the whole karate thing with Freddy. I'm just, what the hell
Oh
is
yeah,
this?
yeah, the fucking karate thing. I was like, these are the kind of kids that we would beat up in high school, and he's
Exactly.
supposed to be the badass in this
He's
movie.
supposed to be the badass that's gonna fight an invisible Freddy, but he can only see the glove. Okay,
Yeah,
got
I
it.
don't. Yeah, that one was a little too out of the box.
Yeah, I mean, now that I'm thinking back, I can just run down four just terribly. This,
Hmm.
this is the one where Freddy's on the beach with the sunglasses.
Yeah, I so the beach, the sunglasses thing. It comes in handy to me because I make a lot of horror movie memes for my Instagram. But other than that, I was like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah,
why is he so casual? He's a fucking murderer. He shouldn't be wearing sunglasses and hanging out on the beach. He should be, slaughtering
Hanging
people.
out on the beach, man. Hey, we got girls turning into cockroaches,
Oh yeah.
people sausages
Yeah.
on the pizza. Yeah,
Hmm.
four was just a whole carnival.
Yeah, it was a little messy. Number 5 they kind of brought it back a little bit, but it was still a little funky.
Yeah, we actually get Freddy now invading the dreams of unborn children. So that was different.
Yeah, it was a creative take. And the what's the kid's name? Is it
Jacob.
Jacob? Yeah, that little creepy
He
motherfucker.
should have been the children of the corn.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He could have been one of the lead roles. I think he's a creepy looking little shit. He's also in Jurassic Park too.
Oh yeah,
He
that's
creeps
right.
me out
That's
in that
right.
movie. Yeah, I thought that was a pretty creative take on how he was invading the child's dreams because the child is always dreaming because it's in the womb. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, what you think of the Alice character? Since
Um.
she did get a return in the fifth one, and
Oh, did
yes,
she?
she does.
Hold on. I gotta look it up really quick.
I
I
believe
gotta.
her name. What was her name?
Lisa
Lisa
Wilcox.
Wilcox.
Oh yeah.
Because
Okay, she was
you
okay.
know,
I mean,
Kristen actually gives her Dream Warrior powers to Alice in the fourth.
yeah. I think um the actress who played her was a little iffy, but the character was written pretty well. I just wish that it was executed a little better than it was.
Yeah, she comes off kind of timid and shy, even though they try to make her a badass by the end of the fourth movie.
Yeah, we're gonna throw her in some fucking spandex and throw her hair up in a ponytail, and all of a sudden she has like superpowers. I didn't understand that, but
Did she still get her
uh,
ass handed to her though? Before just,
I'm pretty sure she does the thing where she walks in and gets knocked the fuck
yeah,
out, and then like immediately.
she get
So, and this is the one where they end up in the cathedral, right? That's that one,
yes.
or is I hated the fucking ending. I hated it. I thought it was a really, really cheap exit
Mhm.
to that movie.
Oh, this one also gives you your comic Freddy, Super Freddy.
Oh, oh, I thought that was the next one. Yeah, okay, yeah. So fuck number 5. I forgot all about Comic Freddy.
Yeah, man, that's Super Freddy.
And this is a skateboard Freddy too,
Yeah,
right? The black and
he's
white
on the
scene.
black and white scene.
I think if they took those two scenes out and the cathedral and they changed the cathedral up a little bit, it would have been a more solid movie than it was.
Yeah, yeah, I go back and watch the fifth one every so often. Not as much as one and three, but I'll throw it in
Yeah.
every so often.
What'd you think of Freddy's Dead: The Final Nightmare? So number what is that, 7?
This is the sixth one.
Oh,
This is our
sixth. Yeah.
favorite because we get the power glove in this one.
Oh
Don't you
fuck.
remember? A
Oh, I
whole
remember.
video game murder scene. Loved it. Only Freddy.
I get that they're trying to like communicate with the youth a little bit, but it's like there's other ways you can do that. You don't have to give Freddy a fucking video game controller.
But to be fair, I thought the movie started out very very strong, and I was like, oh okay, so this one may be okay. And then I see the power glove, and I was done.
I think outside of that one scene, it was a pretty solid one. This was the one where they took the three stowaways from the mental clinic, right? And they go back to
Yes.
Elm Street.
Then they give you
Yeah.
the kind of the backstory into the young Freddy.
Hmm.
What his
Yeah. That
relationship was like with his dad.
yeah, that has like the flashbacks and all that stuff. I thought I think Freddy's Dead was a lot stronger than Dream Child, but that the power glove scene, that was the one that kind of did me in on that, but I think all in all it was a
Yeah, the story.
pretty solid
Yeah, story
script.
wise, it holds up pretty well though. At least against the fourth and fifth movie, it does.
Hmm. Yeah. I think the ending was a little anticlimactic. It um felt more like a Spike TV movie ending to me.
Yeah,
Just kind of,
the 3D effect too.
yeah, the chain link fence and all that shit that was happening, and like just the really dramatic. You see the connection between the main character and Freddy at the end, and it kind of hits you out of
Mhm.
nowhere. Like they didn't really give you any foreshadowing into it, and so I think it was still a pretty good movie.
Yeah, that one's still watchable too. I can go back and watch that one.
And then Wes Craven's New Nightmare. This one's my personal favorite of the whole
Really?
series.
Oh,
I watched
wow.
this one so many times as a kid.
Now I did remember watching that one for the first time. It was like that Jason Goes to Hell. I'm like, oh man, you know.
It was. I think it was a really, really creative take because this is where Wes Craven comes back and he takes over completely, directing and writing. And it's not necessarily a Friday or Nightmare on Elm Street movie. It's sort of like he broke the fourth wall.
Yeah, because everyone's getting addressed by their actual names, and it just feels
Mm-hmm.
almost like this is not a movie. This is actually happening.
Yeah, yeah, and they actually bring in Wes Craven that he does a little part, and you see his little room where he does his typing, and you see the movie that you're watching being typed on the computer behind you
And just-
or behind Wes Craven. I think this one was probably the most creative
It
one
was.
in
It
the entire
was.
series, but it wouldn't have been that way unless it had been set up by all of the movies prior. So you can't really remove any of the Freddy movies and have New Nightmare and have it still be the same movie.
Yeah, you can. You can. And then, hey, we got a different look Freddy in this one too, didn't we? Yeah, we did.
Oh, with the makeup,
The black, the makeup, the new glove, black boots, the trench coat.
they took the fedora off. Thank fucking god.
And then, hey, didn't they? I think they did. They almost redid that Nightmare One kill with the Tina character,
I
with the
th-
babysitter in the hospital scene.
yeah, I think so. Where she's
Drug
being
up the wall and she's reaching out to
yep.
Nancy's son. Yeah,
That scene alone was probably the scariest scene in the entire movie because there's just blood all over this white fucking room, like
yeah,
streaking all behind her, and
and she's trying to keep him, from falling asleep, and he sees Freddy like right behind her.
yeah.
Loved
I,
it.
I think the only problem I had with the entire movie was the son. I can't remember his fucking name. See, I told you I'm terrible. Dylan.
Dylan.
Yeah, how he has the little stuffed T Rex who's supposed to be like his gatekeeper under the blanket. I thought that was weird because they don't really elaborate on that enough for it to be a cool part of the movie. But
No, right.
and then the remake of A Nightmare on Elm Street by
Oh boy,
Samuel Bayer.
the remake.
Yeah, this is you texted me before because I told you I was watching this one, and you told me all about it. And I thought it wasn't going
Mhm.
to be as bad as you said, but when I got to the end, I was pretty disappointed.
I mean, yeah, you don't get Robert Englund as Freddy. That's already a super buzzkill. But
Hmm.
the story that they try and portray to you with the Freddy character and just the acting, I
Yeah,
think
it
I
was.
think I've one and done that one.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be revisiting that, which sucks because I paid $18 for the steel case Blu-ray
Oh
of
shit.
that movie. It's like even all the way like so this movie was made in 2010. At this point, there's Transformers movies out with incredible CGI, and there were still parts in this movie where the CGI, like the part where she's laying in bed and his head pops out of the wall, and like starts
Oh
moving down.
yeah, I saw that.
I was like, is this am I playing a fucking PlayStation 1 game? Why does this look like this? And obviously the story, how they kind of added that extra element into Freddy that made his backstory even harder to swallow.
I mean, what what are we supposed to do with that?
Yeah, it's they kind of teased that none of it was actually true there partway through the movie, and I thought that's what they were gonna roll with, but they didn't. And
No, and I guess that was their weird way of trying to give the Freddy character more heat, if you will. But
mhm,
that was more like that just go away.
mhm. Yeah, they the Freddy in this movie was a lot darker,
He
which
was.
it was cool, but I don't know. You get so used to watching Freddy with his funny jokes and his creative ways of killing. This one was just a straight slasher. He wasn't funny at all. The CGI on his face was fucking terrible.
I mean, I said with some of these remakes, they would be decent, I guess, if you will. I love to say, if you just change the name, if we change that name to something else besides Nightmare on Elm Street, it's an okay movie.
Yeah, if it was if it wasn't part of the franchise necessarily, because they're trying to build on something that was already established. And the Friday the 13th remake, they didn't stray too far away from Jason's actual character besides,
Exactly.
besides the run, but this one they completely changed him. Out the only thing that was similar was his appearance and the way he talked, the way he looked, the way he acted. None of that was the same. No creative kills. It was all just like straight slasher style.
Yeah, I mean, you
So,
could have went with the slasher on whatever the fuck street, or you know, the
mhm.
burn face killer. You know,
Yeah, yeah. It was just a quick money grab, I feel like, or somebody wanting to get their take on the movie, and it just didn't work out that way. So I think,
because the original idea was to indeed get Robert Englund, but once he got into the script and the backstory of the Freddy character for this particular movie, he was out.
oh, I don't doubt that one bit. Because I've seen pictures. I don't know if they were photoshopped or not of Robert England holding up signs saying that the remake sucks. So I don't know if that's actually his feelings on it. If those were photoshopped, it was just kind of in passing. I was hoping
He's
they were real.
not a supporter of it for that said reason of that backstory.
Hmm. I mean, like I understand why they did it, but at the same time, I, I don't know. It kind of stirred up some emotions in me that made me turn the
Yeah,
whole. It became a whole debate within my entire household of talking about his character, and I was talking about it with people who don't even fucking watch horror movies, so it was just a whole thing watching
yeah,
that
man.
movie.
It's rough dealing. You know, when you got a storyline like that and a franchise that's so loved and renowned. Now you got this movie, and like, okay, what am I supposed to do with this? And I guess that's where Robert Englund was, kind of at with it. Like, yeah, like that's not who the Freddy Krueger character is.
And I don't blame him for wanting to get away from that because I don't know. It
Yeah,
was a little the turn was a little disgusting. I feel like.
yeah,
Um,
it was, man. I think if they go a different route, I think they could land that deal with Robert Englund, and probably would have been a better movie.
Definitely would have been a better movie. Probably would have had better ratings and a better fandom if they would have kept Robert Englund, but I don't know.
Because I don't think the characters that were portraying the teenagers were that bad. It's just I don't think it was great chemistry there.
Yeah, it was. Uh, I probably won't watch that movie again. I will give it props for the scene in the bathtub where the claw comes up.
Yeah,
Getting
but
they
yeah,
made the first scene.
I did like that.
Other than that, I don't know. And then the last movie that kind of ties both of these franchises in together, which is one of my personal favorite movies from my childhood, is Freddy vs. Jason.
Freddy versus Jason. 10 years in the making. We finally
Mhm.
get it.
Yeah. What did you think of this movie?
Um. Well, I won't agree with some that feel like they took too long to make it, and it was a little underwhelming. I thought it was still great. I mean, hell, no one really cared about a story for Freddy versus Jason anyway. We just wanted to see these two badass motherfuckers fight.
Exactly. Yeah, I
And
didn't care about the story either.
I went to the movie solely to see the fight, and I didn't care what the story was about, how they got them together to fight. I just wanted to see the fight,
Yeah,
and I was entertained.
it was. I think it was a really solid movie. The way that they so the setup to this movie was pretty similar. I don't know if you've ever read any Spider-Man comic books, but in Spider-Man, there's another character called Venom,
Hmm.
and the way that there's a third character who comes in named Carnage, and the only way that Spider-Man knew how
Carnage.
to defeat Carnage was by bringing Venom in. So he took two bad guys and pinned them together, which is almost exactly how they did it in Freddy vs. Jason. They're like, how the fuck are we gonna get rid of this guy? So let's bring this guy in and have them just kill each other, you know.
Hmm.
And I thought that was a really, really great approach at getting this movie set up.
Which is funny that you say that because I think Sam Raimi did the Spider-Man movies.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. He did the first couple or the first three, I think.
Yeah, he did. He did the original three with Tobey Maguire. So yeah, that makes sense as to how that could be set up like that from Spider-Man.
Yeah, I think this movie was a fucking banger from beginning to end, and a lot of people I think kind of look at it as a corny movie and that it was a little campy, but I think it was incredible. Every from the soundtrack to the fight scenes to the CGI to the even to, like all the way down to the movie posters. I thought this movie was fucking great.
Oh yeah, I mean if you got the DVD and the bonus content, you get the hilarious ass press conference, kind of like they do in UFC and boxing matches with Freddie and Jason.
Oh, is that on the DVD?
Yes, man, check that out.
I'm
That's
gonna have
some
to. I
funny.
have the. I think I have the DVD just by itself, the one with the holographic cover, the holographic blue
Yeah,
cover.
that's the one. That's some funny shit. That press conference is funny as hell. Even though Jason never says anything, Freddie basically carries that whole conference.
Yeah, that's another thing too is they let Freddy be his own character. They had Robert Englund back, which was great, and he was poking jabs at Jason. And I think the only thing that would have made it better is if they brought Kane Hodder back to play Jason. They had because
Yeah, man, that was the only thing missing was Kane Hodder playing Jason, but what was the guy name that portrayed it?
Ken Kersinger.
Yeah, I think he did pretty well though.
Yeah, he was all right. I just think you brought back the legendary Robert Englund, then you should also bring back Kane Hodder, who plays pretty much every like mutilated slasher
Yeah, he
in
did.
half of the horror genre. Like he played Victor Crowley in Hatchet
Victor
too, didn't he?
Crowley, he did.
Yeah, there was a couple others he was in. I found out about it and I was like, what the fuck? Kane Hodder's in this one too?
Oh yeah, he's been around, man.
Yeah, he's so if they would have brought Kane Hodder back, but that's really my only issue with the movie that I can, and it's not even really an issue. It's just sort of, I feel like this would be cooler if he was in it. So,
Yeah, I just we get attached to some of these characters and actors that portray these said characters, and that's all we want.
hmm yeah, exactly. So, all right. Well, we
No.
kind of broken down both of these franchises pretty well. I feel like.
Yeah, I think we did. I think we did pretty good with this one.
So,
So overall, you still you riding with Jason on this one?
uh, the character, I love the character Jason Voorhees more than I like the character Freddy Kreuger. And I think Friday the 13th has more solid films altogether between 1 and 6. And then because Nightmare on Elm Street has a few really really fucking good movies, but there's also some not so good movies in there.
Yeah, unfortunately, can't put toothpaste back in the tube with 4 and 5 or
Mm,
2. I'm sorry.
yeah, yeah. And then the remake, I feel like the Friday the 13th remake was a little bit stronger.
Oh fuck yeah, it
Um,
was. You get points for that one. I can't disagree.
but Friday the 13th Part 8 fucking ruined the entire franchise for me. So
See,
if you took Friday the 13th Part 8 out, I feel like it would be the dominant franchise, and it's clearly the more commercially successful one because everybody who thinks of horror movies thinks of hockey masks.
that's true. That's
Um,
true.
I think the movies, as far as movies go, this franchise in total, Nightmare on Elm Street takes the cake. But I think if you were to pin up movie against movie against movie against movie, Friday the 13th would probably have more movies that sort of, you know,
Okay, well
get that
let's.
three count.
How about we rapid fire real quick? Nightmare one, Friday the 13th one. Which one was better?
Friday the 13th one, I think.
Really?
Yeah, I've seen it so many times as a kid. I loved that when you go back into Friday the 13th one after you've seen all the other ones, and if you hadn't seen Friday the 13th one, you're automatically gonna assume it's Jason Voorhees, but nope, it's fucking Mama
Oh,
Bear on the hunt.
uh, I'm still a little hot with Mama Bear about messing up my tournament the other day.
Oh
But
yeah,
we're gonna talk about that.
yeah,
We got a whole episode coming on these horror matches from my Instagram at
mm.
Horror Guy 90s.
Yeah. If any of you guys follow Dre on Instagram and you voted on his shit, you fucking pissed him off. He has been texting me every day, being like, "These motherfuckers cannot get anything right," and so we're gonna touch on that a little bit. He didn't say that. He was pretty nice about it, but he was upset that you guys put Pamela Voorhees over what's her name?
Lilith from the Tales from the Crypt, Bordello Blood movie,
Yeah,
Ancient Vampire
and then a pissed off mom in a turtleneck sweater.
that, runs around slicing people's throat with a butter knife. Okay.
Yeah, we'll have to break those tournaments we had down in another episode and
Yeah.
explain why we're right and everybody else is wrong.
Oh, yes, we definitely going to get into that. But Nightmare, you don't really remember Nightmare 2. I guess I'll have to do this one. Nightmare 2, Friday the 13th 2. No brainer. Friday the 13th 2.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because I remember Friday the 13th Part 2 a lot more than I do Nightmare on Elm Street 2. The only thing I remember from Nightmare on Elm Street 2 was the bus scene.
I hate to just drag the second one through the mud, but I mean, just for me personally, I just didn't like the whole. Is he taking on the persona? Is he possessed by Freddy? And then I gotta agree with Wes, man. It's just weird seeing a guy in a scream role.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's still a solid movie. But in comparisons to the second Friday the 13th, not even close.
Yeah. So what about? So this one is the. I feel like this is going to be the toughest one. Friday the 13th Part 3 versus Dream Warriors.
Oh, as much as I like Friday the 13th 3, and Jason gets his hockey mask in this one,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going
Yeah.
Dream Warriors, man.
I I think Friday the 13th Part 3 is the most pivotal movie in that
It
franchise, but
it is because this is where he gets the mask, man.
that's where he gets the mask and hit the full Jason character kind of comes into effect. But Dream Warriors was a little bit more creative because at this point, Part 3, the same thing has already fucking happened in Part 2. You know, he comes, he kills, he goes, and
Yeah,
that's the end of the movie. Dream Warriors, they have these people fighting back in a super creative way.
I mean, and just with that shocker at the end with Nancy's death,
Mm,
everything was almost perfect in that movie.
yeah, I think I'm gonna agree with you on that one. I think Nightmare on Elm Street 3 was a little bit more put together.
And this comical kill in 3 is actually iconic. I've seen so many guys do artwork of the "Let's Get High" scene,
Hmm.
was knives actually turn into syringes.
Yeah, I think that's a. It's not even like as comical. It's more. It's pretty vulgar, but it's pretty badass at the same
Yeah.
time. So, and then
Here's another one that's not even close. The final chapter against Dream Master,
I'm going final chapter.
easily.
Yeah, 'cause this is where Tommy Jarvis is first here. Yeah, first appearance, and
It's my favorite out of the series.
yeah, and then New Beginning against the Dream Child.
New Beginning,
Yeah, I think so too.
not close. Damn, and I actually like the Freddy franchise better, but I'm agreeing with Jason movies here, though.
We got all right. What's the last one? Friday, the Final Nightmare against or
Jason
Jason
Lives.
Lives. Oh yeah, Jason Lives is such a good fucking movie.
Oh, shit, I might be wrong on this one, Spaulding. Damn, man.
Yeah.
Because when we break it
Well,
down like this here, it seems like it's supposed to be the Jason franchise that's better.
yeah, but then you do got part 8, and I'm gonna continue to talk shit on that movie until the day I die.
Oh,
So when we go down to let's cross over Jason Goes to Hell versus Wes Craven's New Nightmare. Which one do you think is a stronger movie?
ooh, man. I think I got to change my opinion, Spaulding. I think Jason was the better franchise. Breaking it down this way, I'm convinced.
Hmm. Yeah.
As
Now,
much as I like New Nightmare and it's really good, Jason Goes to Hell was that much better.
Jason Goes to Hell was that movie was disturbing in all the best ways possible. So it's
Disturbing. I
yeah.
mean, even not sure if you remember the black character Duke.
Hmm.
Man, his
Of course.
character delivered well in that movie.
Yeah, I love Duke. He's the cowboy hat guy, right? They
Yeah.
meet at the coffee shop.
Hmm.
Yep. Yeah, he I thought he was a pretty solid character. I wish he was a bigger character throughout the movie,
You know what I
but I
thought?
did
You
like
know
his
what I
character.
thought originally when I first saw that? I'm like, well, maybe somehow this is the Dudley character, but I'm like, well, no, because how the hell did he get so old?
Hmm.
But I just thought that probably would have been, pretty cool to have that character come back and have some history with Jason. Because I'm like, well, how does he know so much about Jason?
Yeah, I wish they would have brought what is his name, Dudley.
Hmm.
I wish they would have brought him back. He was such a good character in the. He was
The
in
fifth one, New Beginning.
yeah, New Beginning. So I don't know. It's a. I hate to disappoint, but I do think Friday the 13th is a little bit more solid of a
Yeah,
franchise.
man, just I love that Freddy character, but just sitting back, just breaking movie for movie like this down now, yeah, it's actually
Yeah,
not even close.
yeah. So hopefully, well, we're not doing Halloween versus anything, so we're not going to get the Halloween fan club to come try and literally kill us. So
Um, I,
the Nightmare on Elm Street fandom is a little bit quieter on the internet as opposed to the Friday the 13th and the Halloween fandom. So
yeah,
I
'cause-
think we're safe.
yeah, I don't think we need to piss anyone off with Halloween being so close.
Yeah,
But we could do
yeah.
a potential Halloween versus Hellraiser.
Oh yeah, I like that idea. Yeah. I'll have to finish. I have seen all the Halloweens. I have to finish Hellraiser. Those movies are just really, really fucking long. So
They the sequels are not as good as the original three. I'll say that. Well, the sequels following the third one, but I do like Inferno just for the story alone of the engineer. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm pretty sure you saw he made my top 50 horror
Oh
characters.
yeah.
So yeah, I like Hellraiser Inferno.
Yeah. I'll have to catch up so we can do an episode on that.
Oh yeah, most definitely, man.
All right. Should we wrap this episode
Yeah, I
up?
think that's gonna do it for this one, bro.
All right. Friday the 13th 1, Nightmare on Elm Street 0. Hope we didn't piss too many people off with this one.
Hey, just send all of your hate tweets to Spaulding because he convinced me. I was going Freddy.
Yeah. At the Horror Sphere, you can send them to me in a direct message. You can tag me in pictures. I don't care. I'll accept it.
Okay, I'll be
All
fair. You
right.
can send some of them to that horror guy 90s too, because I agree with him. He's right.
See, I'm a smooth talker.
All right, guys. I guess that'll wrap that one up for this one.
All right. I'll talk to you all later.
All right, guys.